Hey guys, it's YouTube Pollution here. This is my Snow Leopard tour, or, it's more like I want to show you what makes Snow Leopard worth it. So, it's $30. Keep in mind, Snow Leopard, an entire operating system, is $30. I've installed Windows XP, Windows Vista, Mac OS 10, 10.5, and you think about the costs of those operating systems, excluding Mac. No, but if you think about the cost of XP is still, if you go to Microsoft's website and you try to buy XP, if you go to any retailers for XP, it's gonna be $80. Last time I checked, it was $80. Now I might be outdated by that. $80. XP is what? 10 years old now. 10 years old. Wow. Wow. And it is nothing like Snow Leopard. Now, don't get me wrong, XP is a great operating system. It was a revolutionary operating system. It is still my favorite of the Windows operating systems that are in production. Except for Windows 7. I really like Windows 7. And I hope they, pull it out of its guts. Or of its ruts. Okay. So, right now, I have Apple's website open. And actually, you know what our first feature is going to be? Minimizing to the icon. Holy crap, why hasn't this come before now? How long has OS 10 been out? Years. We have no minimizing in the icon yet, until now. And this is a little bit ridiculous, but at least it's on Snow Leopard. Keep in mind, at least it is on Snow Leopard. I'll tell you the truth, really, it sounds great, but sometimes it can be useful to actually see all your minimized windows instead of having them in a bar like this where I'm clicking and holding it, and you'll be able to see multiple pages if I had multiple pages open. But, you know what, I think it is worth it, and the great part is you can turn it on and off. So if you find out you don't like it, just turn it off. So, here we go with our first feature, really. Stacks. You know what, it's really not that great. Sure, it's cool, it looks cool. The transparency makes it look really nice, but, really, I mean, it's not, like, huge, unlike some people seem to think it is. But it is nice to be able to browse a folder, see the folder's contents without opening up Finder. It does help with your, what I like to call, information delivery, the rate that the information gets from the screen, from your computer to your head, how much information you can cram into it. So it does help a little bit with that, and, yeah. So, the next feature that I want to talk about is Time Machine. When I first got Time Machine set up, which was right after I got my MacBook, keep in mind this is my first Mac, my MacBook, and I've had it for about a year, and I'm loving it. And I loved it the minute I saw it, loved it the first months. I mean, converting to from Windows to Mac. And I used Windows and Linux for years and years before I used OS 10. And it is not a hard conversion. And the great part is I can run Windows on my boot camp, and on my extra partition using boot camp. Run Windows 7 right now. I had XP on there. I've had Vista on there. So, it is just but I'm getting into an Apple commercial here. So here we go with Time Machine. Really, it is a lot faster. Like I was saying, when I first backed up Time Machine, when I first got it set up, it took 3 hours to back up my hard drive. And that was in my glory days where I had a ton of space left. I had 100 gigabytes of data on my hard drive. It took 3 hours. Hooked Snow Leopard up, did a complete backup. I have almost 250 gigs. My hard drive is crammed full. And it is, it backed it up just like that. It was 20 minutes. I would give an estimate of a 20-minute backup. And the great part is you don't even notice it anymore. On 10.5, it seemed to take a lot of CPU, because when I would do a full backup, I would end up having to just, let my computer sit there. I couldn't run any other applications. I usually, when I'm on my computer, I'm doing pretty media intensive or pretty graphics intensive, pretty processor intensive applications, like exporting a video on iMovie, watching a movie on Hulu, or in iTunes, or listening to music, which that's not really CPU intensive, but you get my point. Now you don't notice it. I am perfectly fine with running an entire backup. So that pretty much negates your your Time Machine backup time at all. 80% faster, probably not. Now the numbers I gave you, 20 minutes and 3 hours, that is more than 80%. But, it's not, I don't know. Apple hypes things up. It's in there. It's just like any other company. They want you to get it. They want you to give them their money. And I'm not an Apple fanboy, by the way. The only Apple products I have are an iPhone and a MacBook. All my other hardware is non-Apple, and that is for a good reason. Generally, except for MP3 players and media devices, I do not like Mac products. Apple TV, not really. Don't like their displays. Their software is okay, but they kind of rip you off with some of their software. But their computers are great, high quality, very extremely high value. So next, we're going to go to faster wake up and shutdown. Wake up is unnoticeable. Have you ever sat there with a timer, and I'm sure if you're a tech reviewer you have, but for your own purposes, have you ever sat there with a timer and clocked the amount of time it takes for your computer to wake up? And how do you even measure that? Is it when all your applications open? Is it when you log into your chats, off of waking up and going to sleep? For me, wake up and sleep time does not matter. And with Snow Leopard, if it were to matter, it is about the same. It is not 2 times faster in my experience. And again, my specs of my computer are on in my description. So shutdown is faster. You hit shutdown, it just plops. You've probably seen it in videos. You just hit shutdown. The second you hit it, it just shuts down. That's probably a good thing. Actually, booting is not any faster. It is within 10 seconds, which to me is not. You're getting to where it doesn't really matter. Because usually when I'm booting, I run and do a 30-second project or whatever I'm doing. So really, that waking up and shutting down, the speeds are not the biggest feature on Snow Leopard. All right, so I wanted to mention really quickly the installation time. I already mentioned that. As you can see right here, 50% faster. I would say more than 50% faster. The installation time of 10.6 is way more than 50% faster. Smaller footprint. Now, I don't remember what 10.5 took up, and I think it was probably around, well, since they're saying it takes up less than half, I would guess it's around 15 cents, and that sounds about right. So it's saying you're giving 7 gigabytes of free space. Now, if you have this on your main partition and you have even a small hard drive, like a 100 gigabyte hard drive, you're still, 7 gigabytes is like woohoo, But especially now with 4 terabyte external drives being fairly cheap. So, I store all my big files on my external hard drive, but my hard drive is still full. And no, it is not porn, so don't ask me. So, yeah, 7 gigabytes, unless, one thing it does give you an advantage of is, say if I were to install this on a partition, or a virtual machine. When you create a virtual machine, you set aside some of the space on your hard drive for that virtual machine. And, saving 7 gigabytes let me tell you, it's worth it for virtual machines, and that's obviously not something that's going to hurt you, taking up less space.